Hi, I'm Marissa with DollarSprout, and today we're talking about 3 easy steps to tracking your expenses that will help you win with budgeting. Now, as a budgeting believer myself, I also recognize that no one is born a budgeting master. It's definitely a skill that takes some time and some work. But one part of budgeting that many people forget about is actually tracking your expenses. But if you're not tracking your expenses, how do you know how your progress is going on your financial goals or how your budget is going throughout the month? It's definitely an important part of the overall budgeting process. Tracking your expenses gives you some insight into your money behavior. For example, you may notice that you're actually spending a lot more money on the weekends. It also gives you great information by showing you where you excel with money and areas that may need a little more improvement. And tracking your expenses also lets you know where your priorities are. So now that you know why this is such an important part of the overall budgeting process, here are 3 easy steps to tracking your expenses. Number 1, create a budget. Now, creating a budget doesn't need to be scary or boring. A great first step in the budgeting process is to create spending goals for yourself and actually write them down. Writing down how much you plan to spend in each category and setting a goal for yourself is a budget. Now, you can create a budget in a lot of different ways. You can do that with either an app like Mint, or you can do it with pen and paper, or even my favorite, which is Excel. Whatever method you think is going to work best for you, test it out and use that to create a budget. Just remember that it takes about 3 to 6 months to actually get in the habit of budgeting, so if the first months don't go super well, don't get discouraged. Just take what you've learned and apply it to the next month and keep going. Number 2, decide on a spending tracker. Now that you have your budget set out with all of your goals and your spending plan for the month, it's time to actually start tracking those expenses. And you can do this with a few different options. There are a few budgeting apps out there that can be helpful for expense tracking, like YNAB or You Need a Budget, or something like Mint, or even the app called Wally. If you are new to budgeting and enjoy technology, using a budgeting app can be a really great solution to tracking your spending, because one of the great things that a lot of these apps do is categorize the expenses that are coming through on your account. But obviously, this still requires your review. The next option you can use to track expenses is with a spreadsheet. You can set up either an Excel document or a Google spreadsheet to be able to track all of your expenses. The great thing about using a Google spreadsheet is that you can share it with your partner and both of you can be updating expenses as the month goes on. Now, I will admit that I am a true Excel nerd and I love using Excel to create my budget and track my expenses. Or you can also use pen and paper. It's an old-fashioned method, but it gets the job done. This is one method that I personally like to use when I'm on vacation. As I normally like to use Excel for my budget, it works out well to just be able to take a piece of paper with me on vacation, and I can use that wherever I go to write down how much I've been spending and make sure that I'm sticking within my budget for our vacation. And the third step to tracking your expenses is to have weekly check-ins. Once you've found a tracking method that works best for you, it's important to have weekly check-ins on your spending. It's great to get in the habit of checking in every week so that you can adjust your budget for the rest of the month if needed. I personally check in with my budget every single Sunday, and this is now just part of my normal routine where I sit down and look at all the transactions I've made for the week and enter them into my Excel spreadsheet. From there, I can see how much I've actually spent in all of these categories and see how it compares to what I've budgeted. So if I notice that there's extra money in the date night category, then we will definitely be going on another date. But if I also notice that I've spent most of my coffee budget and it's only the second week of the month, I may have to just start making coffee at home. So if budgeting has been difficult for you in the past, tracking your expenses may be that missing ingredient. Remember that a budget is not restrictive, but instead it gives you permission to spend. And such an important part of the budgeting process is actually tracking your spending. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and learned something new about budgeting when it comes to tracking your expenses. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe to the DollarSprout YouTube channel for more videos. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.